So we're going to continue in this section. This section is 3.3, if I haven't mentioned that yet. It is really looking at an analysis of your function and what we know about the first derivative. So I have this section in Delta Math that you're going to do some problems. It's called First Derivative from a Graph Guided. And what's guided is you're allowed to manipulate it a little bit, which is nice. And they're going to ask a variety of questions based on a graph of an original function. So for the example, this one wants to know all the intervals that the derivative is bigger than zero. So derivative bigger than zero means that it has a positive slope and it's increasing. Here's what's guided about it. It actually tells you at any point what the derivative would be. So you can slide this point and see exactly when it switches. So right here at -7, we have a zero derivative. If I keep going upwards, I'm now to a positive derivative. So I'm going to have a positive derivative all the way. I think it'll get there until I get to -5. So my interval would be -7 and -5. Then my derivative is negative because we're like really going down the hill here until we get here. And I think I need to move it over just a touch. It's kind of finicky. It's -3. Oh, there it is. And then it starts to increase again, and it increases and it increases, and you're still going up. And it has this momentary pause, but it's still going up. So my increasing continues all the way until I get to 3. So you're going to type in those intervals, and you can type them in a lot of different ways. You can use brackets or parentheses. So I'm going to go from -7 to -5. So -7 to -5. And then if you want, you can use this union button, which basically just says there's another interval, and it starts increasing again at -3 all the way until it gets to -3 until it gets to +3. And you can submit that as when it increases. So that's one thing that they will ask you to do in these, kind of similar to some of the things we've done before. It can also ask you when a derivative will switch signs. So this one wants to know when does the derivative go from negative to positive. So that's going to be when it goes from decreasing to increasing. And again, you can slide this here. It's decreasing. It has a negative derivative. And then right when it gets here at 6, we have a zero derivative, and then it starts to increase. So you can see that switching happening at -6. And then we're going to keep going. It happens again at -1 when it goes from a negative to a positive derivative. And it happens again at 4, I believe. Yep, 4, and it goes to a positive derivative. So when it's asking this, it just wants you to list your values. So what do we say? -6. You can hit comma if you want. It'll give you another answer. You can hit the little plus sign on the screen. Happens again at -1. And then it happens again at 4. So you're listing all those values in any order to explain that. And it will show you a picture. It'll highlight it, go through there. Let me see if there's anything else different before we stop. Oh, here's an interesting one. This one wants to know if there's a place that the derivative equals 0, but the derivative doesn't change signs. So we talk about these places where we have a 0 derivative and it's switched from going down to going up. Well, it wants a place that has a 0 derivative where it doesn't switch. And here, oh, there we go, not quite, there we go. -2, there is a 0 derivative here, but before -2, it had a positive derivative. After -2, it still had a positive derivative. We would call that a critical value, but it doesn't end up being an extrema. I believe it happens again. I feel like I'm riding a roller coaster when I do these. I believe it happens again right here at 5. Let me double check, yep. At 5, I have a 0 derivative. Prior to it, I have a positive derivative. After I have a positive derivative. So it happened at -3. And it happened at 5. So those are some of the questions. And the reason it is called a guided section. Oh no, I put in the wrong thing. 3. Oh, is there another one? Oh, -2. What did I type in wrong? Oh, I typed in -3. I'm sorry. -2. So easy to do. -2 and 5. I just typed the wrong number. So those are some of the questions that they'll ask you to do. And the reason that they are guided is because it allows you to kind of move that cursor and you can kind of see for yourself what happens to the derivative value.